Welcome to Incredible Idaho. I'm Jack Hemingway. Tonight we'll have the rare opportunity to see one of the most magnificent and mysterious wild animals in Idaho. Felis concolor, or the mountain lion, is a very secretive creature, living on the edges of our world. Although seldom seen, it ranges our entire state, from the Panhandle down to the Owyhee Desert. An animal this reclusive is a tough subject for scientific study. But patience, perseverance, and a shot of stubborn endurance eventually pay off. It's dawn. The sun barely peeks over the lip of the mountain, lending a bit of warm amber to the cool colors of a winter morning. The high desert country is eerily silent, as off in the distance the snow-covered ridges gradually brighten in the early morning light. It's during these shoulder hours of dawn and dusk that the mountain lion is most active, and the scientists and the houndsmen who track these elusive creatures must learn to adapt to the habits of the hunted.
So that cat is either in between where I saw where they crossed on these knobs, or he's went clear up into his legs.
What's the snow like over there? Can we follow the track?
You can till you get on these south slopes.
They look for marks like this, a signature imprinted in the snow, and a warning to all that a mountain lion has recently passed this way.
If he stayed on this side, we'd be in good shape.
Houndsman Ken Jaffick has been part of this research project since 1985.
Good day.
But he brings a backlog of tracking experience to the job and a delightful appreciation for Idaho's outdoors.
Yeah, I've been following these old cats around these mountains for a lot of years, and it's a great sport. Gives you lots of exercise, and out in the clear blue sky like today, it's a beautiful day. You won't find a better one in southern Idaho than what today is.
The snowmobile roars off down the trail following the mountain lion tracks. If they prove to be fresh, then the chase will begin. The hounds bellow with excitement. Tracking dogs like these are essentially the only way biologists have of chasing and capturing a cougar. If the dogs can manage to pursue the mountain lion until it finally finds refuge in a tree, the researchers will be able to drug the animal and then fit it with a radio collar. But the snowmobiler returns to report that the tracks are too old and the chase is abandoned. It's a typical day on the study. Hope and defeat, load and unload, hurry up and wait. Today they're looking for Roxanne, an adult female cat that has been captured before. The signal from her radio transmitter is weak and the collar needs replacing. Most mountain lion studies have been conducted in wilderness or remote areas where man has had very little impact. The scope of this study is to determine how the cats fare in what scientists call a fragmented habitat. Here in the study area, the craggy peaks of the mountain ridges are separated by wide valleys, and in these mountains lie small towns and farms connected by a major interstate highway. We expect mountain lions to thrive in wilderness, but how well do they survive here? And what can we do to assure that they will continue to survive into the next century as man encroaches further on these remote areas? Dr. John Landre hopes that the data collected from this study will help biologists develop a land management plan that will balance the needs of the mountain lion with those of an expanding human population.
Got the radio, I got the guns, got the drugs, collars. Okay, we need someone to take the scale.
Their luck has changed. Fresh tracks have been spotted, and the houndsmen and their dogs are hot on the trail.
Okay, I'm gonna start heading up.
It's a south-facing ridge, steep and slippery with the wet snow, and it doesn't take long before the climbers are breathless with exertion.
We'll just sort of wait here and get the tracks headed to the east, Ken.
Now it's turning and going up now.
Okay, we'll keep going up. It's always easier going down.
Eventually, they reach the base of the cliff, only to discover that the cat has eluded the houndsman and is headed up another draw. The chase goes on, and the capture crew follows faithfully. They hike over the ridge and begin to trudge across a vast snow field, following the tracks of the houndsmen and their dogs.
The straight up and down, mountain the first couple of days was a bit much, but I'm getting used to the altitude now.
Joy Pierce, like most of the crew, is a member of an environmental organization called Earthwatch. Along with Idaho State University, it is one of the main sources of funding for this study. In addition, Earthwatch members contribute their time, coming in from all over the world to spend a week as a member of the capture team.
Have you seen a mountain lion yet? Were you with
Oh
them?
yeah, we've caught 3.
Was it worth it?
Oh yes.
Joy will soon add a 4th cat to her count. The houndsman radioed that the dogs have caught up with their quarry and the cougar has taken refuge in a tall pine.
Okay, well, I'm going to head over that way and get on that ridge so we can hear you.
She's a beauty. She stares down from high among the pine boughs at the bellowing dogs straining and leaping in frenzied excitement. Her right side is exposed, and John takes advantage. He shoots a dart that contains an immobilizing and tranquilizing drug, hitting her perfectly in the hip. John begins to climb the tree.
Yeah, you want to get up there fast enough so it doesn't fall out of the tree, but you don't want to get up there too fast because it won't let you put a rope around its foot. Hey there. Hi, Roxy. How you doing?
It's the adult female, Roxanne, that John was hoping to capture. But she, in turn, seems less than pleased at the idea of becoming reacquainted with John. John struggles with the rope, trying to place it around her foot. It's needed to ease her to the ground as the drug takes effect. But the cougar is not cooperating.
I got it started. We'll see what happens here.
Suddenly, she releases her hold. She slides gently through the branches, dangling by her left rear foot until she reaches the ground.
Doing good, John. Give her another shot. I got her yet.
The mountain lion is frustrated and tries to lunge away from her captors. Eventually, one of the houndsmen manages to get another rope on her, and she's safely injected with a second shot of the tranquilizer. She gradually calms as the drug begins to take effect. In the final few minutes before she's completely down, she bobs her head, looking about her with an unfocused stare. Finally, she slumps forward and she's carried into the sun to be processed.
One of these wrenches should work on that collar. Okay. That one?
Her old collar will be replaced with a new one, and she'll be measured, weighed, and treated with an antibiotic.
75 inches. What a picture.
Since Roxanne has been captured before, it's not necessary for the biologist to draw blood again. One aspect of this study is to run a DNA analysis of the blood. This determines the genetic makeup of each cat. Eventually, scientists hope to be able to unravel the complex family relationships of the mountain lion population in this area.
Infanticide seems to be fairly well documented in a lot of predators, most of felids being cats. In the African lion, it seems to be an evolutionary strategy by males that take over a pride. In this area, we've documented males killing young ones.
The question is, are they killing their own offspring or kittens sired by other males? And is this a tactic to bring the mother of the kittens into heat sooner so the male can pass on his genetic code to the next generation? In time, John hopes the data collected here will help answer these questions. For the more we learn about our wildlife world, the better neighbors we will be. And down the road, our grandchildren will thank us, for they too will have the satisfaction of knowing that somewhere out there, the magnificent mountain lion still silently stalks the ridgelines of Idaho.
I have to be totally honest, it's kick in the butt research. You know, we're doing serious work out here, but it's fun. And it's, they're neat animals, man. I never get tired of seeing them in the tree.
I can't use my stringer on it. And it's an animal bow. So we'll just string that one just like so.
In the last decade, the sport of traditional bow hunting has undergone a resurgence worldwide. And for many enthusiasts, the pastime has gone well beyond the hunting aspects. Bow hunter Nick Neidiger has developed a passion for every facet of archery, from learning of its historical roots to learning the skills required in learning to build an original longbow.
The history of archery is simply amazing, and take it from me, who used to think that history was not my subject. Picking up on history, the history of something that you're really interested in is certainly amazing, and archery has shaped the face of the world as we know it right now.
Traditional bow hunters like Nick use only primitive weapons. In medieval times, this particular style of bow was the most efficient and deadliest weapon in a distinct age of archery. The English longbow came into its own as a formidable weapon in the 13th century during the ongoing conflict between the French and English known as the 100 Years' War. Perhaps the most famous encounter was the Battle of Agincourt, forever immortalized by William Shakespeare in his play Henry V. The year was 1415, and with a force of 5,000 archers and 900 men-at-arms, young King Henry defeated a French army nearly 5 times as large. A new pattern of warfare had been established, and the Englishmen and their longbows became a force to be feared. Today, Nick will show us the steps involved in constructing a laminated English longbow, but he also builds traditional bows from other cultures.
This is my rendition of a Plains Indian flatbow. This one's made out of black locust, a common tree around here, but it's also been backed with sinew, which are animal tendons, commonly used in the old days for backings on bows.
Unlike the English longbow, which was a weapon designed for foot soldiers, the Plains Indians used their bows primarily from horseback. As a result, they built bows that were much shorter and easier to manipulate.
Steady.
This belongs to a class called self-bows, that is, a bow fashioned from one piece of wood.
It's real impressive looking stuff. It starts out just as wood. I have a bunch of logs outside, but these have been in here for a year drying.
Each type of wood lends a different characteristic to a bow. For self-bows, Nick uses materials from domestic trees such as elm, black locust, and Pacific yew. But for the more complex laminated bows, he uses a wide variety of exotic woods imported from all over the world, with equally exotic names: coca-cola, paduke, bacati, and zebra wood.
This is pretty silly, but I think they're all my favorite woods.
The first step in the process of building a bow is the riser. This is the center part of the bow, the grip, where the arrow rests. Nick begins by planing a piece of zebra wood, an operation that tends to create a lot of sawdust. He then cuts the wood to size.
Yeah, I've been in archery for 25, 26 years, and I really love it. It's got a serious hold on me, and it was probably pretty much natural that I'd start building bows. I've been a woodworker pretty much all my life, and the two things just seem to meld together. And
Nick matches the grains from 2 of the pieces and then laminates the wood together.
well, most of the stuff that I do is already all pre-sold. It's all custom work, and I'd say about 99.9% of the time I want to go up and say, I changed my mind, you can't have it. And I just as soon hang on to it.
This attitude is easy to understand when you consider the time and patience that goes into each step of the process. Next, Nick traces the pattern onto the sanded wood and then begins to cut it out with a bandsaw.
There's a lot of energy that goes into every one. It's not so much the shaping and the carrying on and everything and all of the work that's involved. There's some kind of energy that gets put in there, and it's not describable.
The riser has begun to take shape, but as you can see, there's still a lot more cutting and carving, sanding and polishing, until it becomes the beautiful burnished product you see here.
I'm now getting ready to put together the components of a longbow.
He begins by laying down a strip of fiberglass, modern man's answer to the animal sinew used by the Plains Indians. On top of this, he stacks strips of maple wood, carefully placed according to the thickness and weight. The longbow riser is added, and then the top layer of fiberglass.
Every surface it touches gets glue coated on it. It all gets laid in there together and then carried over to a press.
The press is a contraption that Nick has designed to hold all the parts together as the glue is drying. It's clamped down with bolts, and then air is pumped into a fire hose that runs the length of the press.
So it just hooks on there and we pump the air to it.
The whole works is then placed into a heat box.
We're putting this in the box right now to set the glue. It's got to be heated to 180, 185 degrees for the next 12 hours.
Out of the box, you can see a hint of the eventual shape of an English longbow. But once again, there are still hours of sanding and shaping before it becomes a polished product that this craftsman can point to with pride.
This is the same with the tape removed. It's been final sanded, had a finish put on it. Nice leather handle put on it.
Nick estimates that he invests about 40 hours into crafting each of his bows. But for this bow hunter, it is time well spent. Because when hunting season rolls around again this fall, you can bet one of these beauties will be his constant companion as he ranges through the mountains and deserts of Idaho.
It's probably one of the main things that helps me recharge my batteries, that time in the field. That's 95% of it is being in the field and having that time to reflect on yourself and on your surroundings and get a look at what's out there, nature.
Got a dandy. Ooh, boy, I got a dandy.
Got a horse.
Oh, big one. Ooh, look, he better, I got him hooked.
For most of us, these longer spring days mean our thoughts turn to summertime pursuits. But for a bunch of guys up in Cascade, these lovely March days just mean that there's a lot more daylight for ice fishing.
Oh, he's got a whole bucket full. He said it's never quits. He says the best hole he ever saw.
It's not a sport where you just grab your old fishing pole and hit the trail. No, you've got to have a lot of stuff. First of all, you need your pickup, of course, to haul all your stuff to the edge of the lake. Then you need snowmobiles and an antique dog sled to haul all the stuff that's in the back of the pickup out onto the lake. This includes various and sundry buckets, because you may need a lot of extra buckets to haul back all the fish you're going to catch. And you got to have your hot coffee and thermos. Or what's a fishing trip without coffee? And then every successful ice fisherman needs an ice auger, preferably one with a gasoline engine. Then you got to figure out how to arrange all that stuff in the sled. Now you're ready to go. It's a big lake, but this being pretty much a social sport, you head straight for one of your buddies' fishing holes.
We doing any good? You just got here about 3 minutes ago, didn't you, Pat?
Well, I've been here a little longer. Still there.
They proudly call themselves the Grumpy Old Men. But for all appearances, they seem relatively cheerful, perhaps almost jovial.
You want to see what they look like?
This is Pat. He's sort of the patriarch of the group. He claims to be twice as old as the lake, and he has a real good reason to go fishing.
Why? Well, I guess that's a good question. I haven't got anything else to do. I've been doing it for a long time. I guess that's part of the reason. It's a nice fish.
Tuffy is the smiley guy. Doesn't have much to say, but you can just tell he's having a great time. Ted here, he's kind of the quiet, serious one. He just keeps hauling in fish after fish and sort of ignores the chatter around him.
Gary, I hear your phone.
Hang on.
Gary and Ronnie are brothers. You can tell that Gary's the older brother. He has the responsibilities and a cellular phone.
Now, we just made it out here. We're eating donuts and having coffee. Well, they're catching all kinds of fish.
He may be fishing for the day, but he still attends to business.
All righty. See you later. Bye.
Ronnie, on the other hand, is a little restless. He has social obligations. He takes a break from the rigors of ice fishing to do a little visiting around the lake.
Boy, golly, that's what I call an active place, Galen.
An important part of ice fishing etiquette, especially when out visiting, is an obligation to exclaim over your neighbor's prowess at catching perch.
Now look at that. And he hasn't been here as long as we have, so you can really tell who the real fisherman is here.
It's also very important to get your buddy's attention when you have something to show off.
There we go. Got a dandy. Ooh, boy, I got a dandy.
Got a horse.
Oh, big one. Ooh.
Yeah, they may be grumpy old men, but they sure seem to be enjoying themselves.
Oh, it's just an enjoyable way to spend a day without spending an arm and a leg and get away from the telephones, usually. That's a lot of fun. You know, it's just, it's hard to explain.
Tonight, as we close our show, we'll give you a taste of what you'll be seeing on next month's Incredible Idaho as we fly through the peaks and crags of Idaho's alpine country, the home of the mountain goat.